Welcome to another episode of Pods and Pies. Today's episode brought to you by
the Pie Pizzeria. The funny thing is we talk about this every time. We just want the Pie to sponsor us one pizza a week. So
Pie is great.
Camera. That's all we need is one pizza a week. We don't even need sponsors besides just the one pizza. We don't care. Honestly, in the beginning, we didn't even care if it was Little Caesars.
Yeah.
So
I would take a sponsor for Monster.
Actually, that's true. Monster, yeah, that's kind of a go-to.
So I went with like a chicken bacon ranch.
Which is great.
No food allergies?
No. I am, surprisingly enough, over the last 10 years, I can't drink milk anymore, but I'm fine with cheese, most dairy, it's just milk for some reason. And I drank so much milk growing up, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Interesting how our bodies, you kind of hit that 40-year-old, getting that stage, dude, just your body starts doing weird stuff.
I don't know what that's like yet.
Yeah, because you're 31.
I'm 45 next week, so.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, we got Jeff Platt from Collective Medical. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first question, as I mentioned, I see your shirt, you golf, maybe, yes?
I do.
Okay.
I'm not good, but I do.
Okay.
Have you ever witnessed a hole-in-one?
Oh, so now I know how you found me.
Yeah.
My good friend Justin Severson, yes.
Yeah.
So has he told you the story?
He has not. He just said that's your first question.
Okay.
I said, okay, done.
Yeah. So shout out to Justin, great guy. We used to work together at Tech Systems for years, and we're still friends. We tailgate together up at the U, and we're in a fantasy football league. We have a draft this Saturday.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. But yes, we were in Cancun. We were on a reward trip for Tech Systems. We both were lucky enough that we hit our yearly contest, so the reward trip was Cancun, and we were golfing a course with our director at the time, Eric Benchoff. Shout out to Eric, he's a great guy, and I can't remember the number of the hole. I know that Justin had a hybrid club. It was about 200 yards. Now, in his defense, because Justin can hit the ball long.
Yeah, and this is Cancun, right? It's sea level.
Yeah, but the wind was coming at us pretty hard. He clubbed up. I remember that. It was like I got or down or whatever, clubbed to a hybrid from an iron, and hit a great shot, and we saw it and went, I think that went in. There's no way that went in. So we got up there, and I said, can you stay in the cart? I'm going to go check it out. Went running up there and just started hooting and hollering, and it was awesome. So
That's awesome.
My only witness to a hole-in-one. Now, of course, I've never had one. So
Yeah, me neither.
Did you grow up golfing?
I probably started when I was 11, 12, 13, but I really didn't start golfing until college with friends, but I didn't get serious until about 5 years ago, really. Maybe a little bit before then, and now I'm finally at a point where I'm not going to embarrass myself every time I go out. Justin's much better than I am. He grew up playing baseball. It was a natural thing for him, but I enjoy it now. It's one of the hobby I probably do the most.
Oh, yeah,
is golf. In fact, next weekend for my birthday, I have friends coming into town.
Yeah.
We're going to go up to Heber. We're golfing Wasatch on Friday, Park City Municipal on Saturday, and we're going to have a big party in my house for my 45th.
Heck yeah, man. Nice.
Yeah.
And so then it was this Justin is the connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you know Justin?
He does payroll stuff now, and so we've just gone to lunch and then kind of referrals back and forth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we use Paylocity. Our
Okay.
HRIS is Paylocity,
Yeah.
which we're very happy with. So.
Yeah.
Good job, Justin.
Yes.
Smart guy.
Awesome, man. So you grew up in Sandy,
Yep.
went to Alta. Where after that? College?
I went to the University of Utah.
Okay.
Majored in business marketing, graduated in 2001. So my college experience was probably not the typical college experience. I kind of had, I had to pay for it on my own. So I went to college at night and on the weekend, just working around my full-time schedule. So it took me quite a bit longer. 7, 8 years.
So right after high school, went to the U.
I actually went to Solid Community College.
Okay.
Did that for a couple of years. Took a few summers off. So wasn't as disciplined as I should have been. But I did graduate in 2001 from the University of Utah with a bachelor's in business marketing.
Nice.
So
What were you doing working while you were going to school?
In college, I was in a warehouse in the very beginning, and then I worked for UPS in their call center. So doing customer service, people would call in, where's my package? and I would
Yeah.
take those calls. The reason I did it is because they had flexible schedules that I could structure around school, and they had tuition reimbursement. So
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
Good job through college.
Everybody should work in a place where they have tuition
Yes.
reimbursement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what
was a Salt Lake community, real quick, at 95 to 96,
Okay.
and then 99 to 2000. Played basketball there a couple years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you look
Bruin.
you look like a ball player, so.
I tried. I mean, I got lucky, got some college paid for it, and then just lived through it, and then, yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Awesome.
So what was your first job out of college?
Well, I worked at Tech Systems the first time. So
What is that? What's Texas?
So Tech Systems, where Justin and I work together, it's a IT staffing company. So they do tech recruiting, basically, both contract and full time. I started there in '99 when I was finishing my degree at the U. I worked there for a couple of years and then left and went back 6.5 years later, and that's when I worked with Justin.
Okay.
So I recruited, and then I sold staffing services to companies throughout the valley.
Okay. So on the sales side of things,
Yep.
when did you get into like the HR side of things?
Yeah.
And most people I feel like that we've talked to are like, with maybe the exception of like Lisa was like, I kind of accidentally got into it.
I kind of accidentally got it.
Kinda
Yeah. And, you know, I tell some friends and coworkers that I'm interested in HR, and they're like, what? Because the reason I majored in business marketing is because I wanted to do sales. And the only reason I wanted to do sales is because I wanted to make a lot of money. So probably not the best motivation, but you know, I thought I'm going to have a family, and I need to support that family, and I had an uncle that did sales, and he did really well, and I thought, I think I can do sales. I can talk to people, and I work hard. So my goal was to do sales. I did sales for a long time at Tech Systems, but because you're selling staffing and recruiting solutions, it's kind of straddling the line of
Yeah.
HR, and so you become kind of not an expert, but you know staffing and recruiting really
Yeah.
well. I honestly thought I would be with Tech Systems my whole career. I went through a leadership program. I was very happy working there. It's a great company, outstanding culture. But they're based in Baltimore, and in order to progress your career, you either have to travel or relocate. And my family's here, my extended family, my wife's extended family. I didn't want to move away from Utah, and I knew I wasn't going to, and so I felt like my options were limited.
Kind of hit that ceiling
Yeah.
as far as, yeah.
Again, great company, loved the people I was working with and what I was doing. Reached out to, I was contacted by Connor Calloway, who was the director of recruiting at Vivint Smart Home at the time.
Okay.
And he was being promoted. He reached out to me and said, hey, how'd you like to fill my position here? And I felt like it was a great opportunity to, one, stay in recruiting, which I really liked, but I thought Vivint's a locally headquartered company. I can go there, I can work my butt off,
Yeah.
I can climb the corporate ladder, and then, so that's why I did it, is because I felt like it was a great opportunity. Wasn't necessarily looking around, but just felt like I needed to do something different to progress my career.
Okay.
So you went to Vivint.
Vivint Smart Home, yeah.
Smart Home.
In late 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was there for just about a year and a half, not too long.
And then what office did you work out of?
I split my time between Lehigh and Provo, probably 50-50. So when I started, I was leading a few different recruiting teams, our technical or corporate recruiting team, our field service team. They're the ones that recruited all the guys who install Vivint Smart Home systems, the inside sales team, and then the call center team. So we had different teams spread throughout Vivint, and so I spent a lot of time in Lehigh and Provo, just trying to get to everything. But yeah, I worked in both.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, good experience.
Yeah.
What was
Did you
next?
ever get to know? Just got blanked. He was an attorney there. I can't remember.
Oh, Garner Mead.
No, tall guy, different tall guy.
Carter Negro, how's that?
So who was it that he was in the legal department. I think he played basketball at BYU. Maybe it's
Well, that's true. That could be a different. Garmy definitely did play there. He was tall. He was a tall
Who did he
friggin'
play
guy.
for?
Well, I played at BYU. Do you think he went further? You went to
No. I mean,
what, high school?
yeah. Why do I remember that name?
Oh man, he was somewhere here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was
Sean
there.
Ricks. Sean Ricks.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I met him and worked with
I'm
him.
surprised. I'm embarrassed I didn't remember that immediately because he's a good friend of mine. I've known him forever, but he's been there for a long time. But he's a tall guy that played basketball. Anyway.
He's still there?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Garby, yeah, he moved it up.
Brighton?
Could be.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Sorry. Okay. So what was after Vivid?
So Collective Medical. So I was in
Okay.
Vivint. Collective Medical reached out to me. Jonathan, at the time he was our chief of staff. He's now our CFO. He's been promoted, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I work for Collective Medical. At the time they weren't really a startup, but a kind of a startup, growing company." They reached out to me at the end of 2017. Said, "Hey, we have huge plans for growth. We need a recruiting director. Would you go to lunch with me?" And I did, and interviewed with the company and was really impressed. And I wasn't actively looking, but I was pretty sure I didn't want to stay at Vivint long term. Just wasn't the right fit for me. And Collective Medical made an offer, and I thought, you know what, this is going to be totally different. I went from leading a lot of teams and a lot of people. I think at one point I had up to 40 people in our recruiting department, so a ton of,
Jeez, yeah.
we had a lot going on.
And the logistic, I mean, just somewhat cumbersome, I'm sure, outside sales, inside sales, just tons of movement, tons of turnover, tons of attrition.
Yeah, our call center recruiting, I don't even know how we kept up with it, honestly. Kelly Branham, who was my call center recruiter, our call center recruiter at Vivint, who now works with me in Collective Medical, she's just an absolute recruiting rock star and did a phenomenal job. But yeah, it was insane.
So you go from that
to Collective Medical, where I was the only person really in the HR department. HR was ran by the controller. So I was hired.
So how many employees at that time?
So at that time, we had just under 100 employees when I was hired.
Okay.
Right about 100.
Was your hair short then?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've been growing for a while.
Yeah.
Which I dig it, man.
Yeah.
Do you have a nickname? Does anybody ever call you the dude?
Yes, at work they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
is that okay?
Yes.
Do you mind that name?
So I have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Absolutely love it. Probably my all-time favorite outside of The Godfather. But yeah, so people do call me the dude.
I like you got a dude vibe going. I like it.
I've never had long hair. I've never had facial hair. I just thought, what the heck?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
My wife likes it.
And that's
Most
important.
That's probably like number one right there, right?
Yeah.
If she's good with it, then it's okay.
I always kind of say, hey, do you think I should cut my hair? No, I like it. But my daughter Claire is adorable, very honest. She said to me a couple times, she goes, "Daddy, I don't mean to be rude, but maybe you should cut your hair."
How old is she?
7.
7, yeah. See, 7-year-old.
No, 9. I'm sorry. Jack is 7, so Claire's
They're
9.
just they're honest.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. They're gonna tell you.
No
what it
bad
is.
intentions.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So Collective Medical, what is exactly that they do?
So we're a healthcare technology company.
Okay.
Our software is used in healthcare, of course, but by both payers and providers. So we got our start in the emergency department in hospitals, and it's actually a really cool story. So we have 2 co-founders, Adam Green and Wiley Vandenacker, who grew up in Boise, Idaho together. And they also grew up with our CEO, Chris Klom. But really, they're kind of 3 co-founders, but really it's Adam and Wiley. Chris came on a few years later. He was at Bain for a number of years. Had a very successful career there. But Adam's mom, her name is Patty Green. She was a social worker working in the emergency department and saw really big issues with patients coming into the emergency department or the ER, and they had no information on these patients, and so they were blind in trying to care for these patients. And
Like just simple things like is this person allergic to a certain kind of medication?
Right.
Just
Or
simple things like that.
has this patient been into this emergency department or one in the Boise area in the last 6 months or the last 12 months? In fact, she was at a town hall earlier this year, maybe even last year, where she told the story, really the motivation for her to start doing the work. So what she started doing was tracking patient visits and then sharing it with different caregivers in Boise, which is essentially what our software does. It provides information on patients and gives it to providers and also health plans. But she had a patient that came in on a Friday, I think it was. They prescribed that patient opioids. That same day, what she didn't know is 2 other hospitals in the Boise area prescribed that same patient the same prescription. So he had 3 prescriptions of opioids. He ended up overdosing over the weekend, and that's when she said, we got to do something about this. You know, we got to get people the help they need, the treatment that they need, and you know, we can't do that unless we know what's going on with patients. So she started manually tracking visits, did it for years, and then approached Dad and her son and said, hey, I think there's an opportunity to create software here. And so he and Wiley did that, and here we are now. So
That's awesome.
it's a cool story.
That is cool.
One
Which
that,
is-
you know, I like telling. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's needed in the healthcare industry.
It is, for sure. You know, so I had no experience in healthcare before working for Collective Medical, and you know, jumping into it, I've learned a lot. But as I've talked to hundreds of people, recruiting them to try and work for our company, when I talk about our story and what we do, they're just like, this is what we need in healthcare. This is so needed. You guys are doing such critically important work, and so it's really cool to be a part of.
So then you guys sell to, like, the IHCs or the Mountain Stars, right? It's not individual hospital locations, but it's the networks, right?
It could be, but yes, health systems or
Health
big
systems
hospital
or big
systems
hospital
like
systems,
Intermountain Healthcare.
or would like an IHC only, like, well, that hospital wants it, but this one, you know, or locations or whatever. It would be more like the systems.
Yeah. So anyone who's on our network can access the information that we have, and there's different levels of access depending on what kind of customer you are. But yes, we're selling
Okay.
to hospitals and also health plans. We have a lot of health.
Oh, okay,
plans.
yeah, that makes sense.
So we have, I think, about 90 or so health plan customers, and then providers. So that include hospital systems, long-term care facilities, skilled nursing facilities, and hospital clinics. Those are our provider customers too. So we have throughout the U.S. I think it's about 800 or so provider customers, and then again about 90 or so health plan customers. If I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
So
Cool, that's pretty cool.
So where are you guys at?
we're in Cobbett Heights,
That's right, okay.
but no one's there right now. So
Yes.
everyone's
So
working from home.
everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on going back? Like, are you trying to do the flex thing like everybody else? Like, what's your guys' plan there?
The plan right now is not at least until January of next year.
Okay.
We have a few people that go in if they really need to, and we're very careful on how we plan that. We have people spaced out, but yeah, we have 178 employees across the U.S., about 125 here in Utah, and we're not going back until at least January. It probably realistically would be second quarter, maybe I would say second or third quarter of next year, but
Yeah.
we're holding off until January.
And what, I mean, how are those discussions? I'm just curious, you know, being in HR, talking to the owners, do you talk to the employees? I mean, is it more just you just get a feel for it, or do you guys just say, you know what, we're going to make the decision here and get feedback after the fact? You know, because everybody's been different. We've talked to a lot of, you know, HR directors and people in HR, so everybody's been a little different. But I'm so curious with everybody, and now, you know, even with you guys, why next January? You know, what's kind of led you to that point?
Yeah, so we're really lucky in that we have a chief medical officer, Ben Zaniello, who his specialty was infectious diseases when he studied, or it was one of his specialties.
Okay,
So
wow,
he is uniquely qualified to do the research and let us know what makes the most sense. So we really have relied on him to educate us and all of our employees on what's the right and safe thing to do. And so he has essentially this entire time been working very closely with our leadership team to say, I don't think it's right for us to go back until this date or that date. And so far, we haven't had really any complaints or pushback. I think everyone's enjoying working from home. We're really productive. We really didn't miss a beat at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it's not an urgent thing where our leadership's.
Yeah, it's not, you don't need them back.
No.
We got to figure out as soon as possible to get them back.
Yeah, I mean, we are, we had growth projections, goals for the year, of course, at the beginning of the year, and then the leadership team adjusted those when COVID started.
Right.
In our last town hall, Chris, our CEO, said we are above our adjusted growth, behind our original growth. So we're hanging in there. We're doing well. We're not suffering, but we're not taking off and thriving. We're doing good. We've done a great job. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. So I cut you off when we were talking about this. So when you started, how many employees were there?
Just under 100.
Okay, so just under 100, and now you guys, and that was in what year?
That was early 2018.
18. So 2022 years, you guys are at 100.
Approaching almost 2, right? 170 something, you said?
178. We should be 190 or so by the end of the year. We're still hiring. We were on a short pause. We've kind of lifted that and are hiring again. So yeah, around 200 is where we should end the year.
Okay, awesome. How's that pizza, man?
Oh yeah. I'll take a bite.
Yeah, get a bite. Get a bite. So tell me, like so we've talked with like HR directors, people who are head of benefits, things like that. So you're director of talent, right? So what is your day? Because like, what's a normal day for you? Do you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, like searching for people that you think would be good, or would people apply? Are you interviewing all those people? Like, how does that all work for you?
Yeah. So first, let me say that when I was hired as talent acquisition director, so basically responsible for recruiting. Shortly after that, I recruited Kelly, who I worked with at Vivint, to come be a recruiter / HR generalist. So my first year and a half, 2 years, mostly focused on recruiting and working with Kelly on recruiting. So that's what I did almost 100% of the time. We had a head of HR who was leading us for about a year and a half. She left in February.
Okay.
And we had planned on backfilling her. But then COVID happened and we just kind of paused it and said, okay, well, let's hold off if we can and backfill at a later time. So since she has left, I've been recruiting, but also been filling in and leading the HR team. So
Okay.
It's been a great learning experience. I've been able to do performance management related initiatives. Right now we're working on benefits and what those are going to look like for next year. A lot of employee engagement related things.
Right.
A lot of culture initiatives. One of the things that we've been really focused on since we went remote is just making sure we felt like we still had a strong culture, because I'm pretty confident saying we have a really, really good culture, one of, I think, the best here in Utah to work for, and so we wanted to make sure that we kept that strong camaraderie with the employees and the strong culture, so we've been working a lot on that. But I still do a lot of recruiting, and I've done recruiting since really '99. I enjoy it. So for me, it's, I guess no matter what happens in my career, if I fail at HR leadership, then I can always recruit. So I can pay the bills.
So if they don't backfill that, I mean, it sounds like you're kicking butt at it right now. If they say, hey, we want you to be our head of HR. Are you on board with that?
Yeah, for sure. I would love that, but I also am kind of brand new into the space, so I've learned a lot, and I'm fortunate that we have right now our president, Jim Lacey. He has an extensive HR law background, and so he's helped out, and Chris has been a great mentor and help as well. So there's a lot that I don't know, a lot that I'm learning, but yeah, as of right now, I've said I think hopefully I can do HR leadership. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to give it a shot, and if I fail, then I'll just go back to recruiting. So.
And what's your exact title on LinkedIn?
Talent director.
Talent director. Okay, so you're a talent director. Your experience on LinkedIn, sorry to switch gears, Dan.
Oh, we're good.
How often are you hit up? For people just soliciting you for any type of looking at softwares, demos. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. I always ask this to most people, just to kind of get,
It's a good
these
question.
different levels. Because sometimes it was interesting. We asked, there was one gal, her name I forget which one it was, but they said like they don't see anything. Like they don't feel like they get hit up very much. But everybody else says like during COVID it amplified. Or
For sure,
yeah,
yes.
just with that title, I just wonder how often do you get targeted?
A lot. I get daily, multiple people reaching out daily through email and on LinkedIn. And I think maybe that person, he or she may not have been as active on LinkedIn. Because I'm a recruiter, I'm always on LinkedIn.
Yes,
all day, every day, basically. And so I'm getting solicitations all the time on LinkedIn, all the time through email, staffing vendors, HR, software vendors.
And is that title, you think that the title attracts that, even though you might not really be in that position to make the decision? And it's like, well, that's not really me, but the title attracts that, probably,
Yeah,
right?
and in this instance, if we were to say we were looking at, like when we were looking at a new HRIS, I was definitely a part of the process and one of the big decision makers. In fact, I introduced Justin to our head of HR at the time.
Oh yeah, great.
And it was, hey, of course I'm not saying use Justin, but we should take a look at it. I've heard great things about Paylocity. I did some research, looked at their reviews. And it was one of 3 or 4 HRISs that we looked at and evaluated. So, if I had someone reach out to me right now, I'd probably, I would. I'd have to go to my boss, Mondra, who's our COO, and say, hey, here's something I think we should look at. Here's why I think we could get value from it, and then I'd work with her and with our CEO to ultimately make a purchasing decision. But Chris, our CEO, he's been really good about trusting me to make those decisions. Of course, he'll finally sign off on them. We upped a big partnership with LinkedIn this year, and it's actually working out really well.
Good, yeah.
So he gave us approval to do that.
Are a lot of those though a distraction? You think? I mean, just the solicitors. I mean, is it you ignore them? You just kind of like, hey, thanks and no thanks. I just, is that a part of your daily? Oh crap, dude! At least I just got to send these guys off, and now I get back focused on my, what I do on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so it's a great question. What I try and do is respond to as many as I possibly can, and I'm probably different than most buyers in the HR space because I sold in the HR space. I have a lot of empathy for people who are selling to. Because it's hard. I mean, you're trying to get attention, and there's hundreds of vendors out there, and so I try and respond to as many as I can. Like with staffing vendors, I have a couple that I'm going to work with, most likely because I have good relationships with them. But if there's one that wants to grab lunch or wants to talk, I'll say sure, or I'll say, hey, we're not using any outside vendors right now. Feel free to check in if you'd like. I at least try to respond because I've been in those shoes before and I know how. And all you want really is an answer, right? Like, even if you say no, just say no.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've been in sales before. I'm in sales now. Like, silence is the worst.
It's
That's the worst part. Like, I would much rather just be like, we're good.
Yeah.
No, thank you though.
Yeah.
That's way better than just crickets.
And frankly, if you do respond, you're less likely to get the ongoing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's actually a good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I was just curious, just especially right now, I've just heard a lot of the volume's gone up, and a lot of noise. But anyway, that's interesting.
I think the
That's
volume
good.
for sure has gone up since COVID. Yeah.
Interesting. So tell me, what are you looking for as a talent director? Like, what are you searching for on LinkedIn? You find somebody in sales, you're like, hey, I know we need to fill 3 sales positions.
Yeah.
Trying to find somebody with obviously a sales background. Like, how are you finding these people? What are you saying when you reach out to them?
Yeah, so for sales, as an example, because our technology, well, the first thing we look for, kind of a minimum qualifier, so to speak, is someone who has extensive healthcare experience, has been selling software in the healthcare space for a number of years, at least 5 to 10, hopefully even more than that. The recent hires we've had in sales, they've spent almost their entire career selling software in some capacity in the healthcare industry to either hospitals or health plans. So that's kind of a minimum qualifier. And if I'm looking at candidates who all have that, let's say there's 5, as we screen candidates, there's a number of things we're looking for. Just like everyone else, we try and screen for work ethic and hopefully intelligence, which is a really hard thing to screen for. But I would say that the quality that I think we tend to maybe focus more on is humility. If we don't see humility in our candidates, if we feel like we're talking to someone who may come across as arrogant, it's usually a pretty quick disqualifier. Like,
you're not the right fit.
Yeah, and it's just a part of our culture. We have a lot of really smart people who are passionate about making a big difference in healthcare, but who are also, I think, humble and just, they're not loud, not spoken, and I'm the best. We're just, yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. But I think that's probably one of the qualities that we look pretty closely at. I think we have a pretty extensive interview process. We have to go through a number of interviews just to make sure that everyone's on board. But so that's kind of what we focus on.
Awesome. And then you got to do background screening, right?
Yeah, that's important. Of course, there's background checks on humility. No, there's not. But it's, do you guys use any type of personality profiler? I mean,
we don't, but I actually used to work for a company that did behavioral assessments.
Yeah.
For 6.5 years. So is that what Vic did?
No, I'm just kind of curious because you're looking for, it's just interesting when you like the humility side, different aspects. Not like, you got 10 years, your performance looks great, you got good references, you're hired. I mean, no, it seems like you guys are digging down a little deeper. And I'm sure most are, but those behavioral assessments or personality profiles would be interesting to kind of see where they land to help you guys make the decision.
Yeah, and I definitely think behavioral assessments can be valuable and they can help. I worked for a company for 6.5 years where we did that. We had a behavioral assessment. It was called the activity vector analysis. It's not a well-known one, but this was a small company I worked for over 6 years. Most of our customers were auto dealerships. It's just where the owner got his start, so we kind of grew a niche market there. But they definitely can be helpful. I think you have to be careful with those because I don't know if it's wise to completely disqualify candidates based on a profile that comes back.
Absolutely, yeah, it makes sense.
But they can be helpful for sure. Yeah. But we do background checks, of course, and I don't know who we use.
But probably with Paylocity, I'm sure there's something integrated in there. Did you use it anyway? But all we do is pretty much just criminal stuff, drug testing, pre-employment, right? And then we're integrated with dozens and dozens. But it's usually through the HRS is the most simple way to do it. It's probably what you guys are doing.
So I'm curious on drug testing. Do you see more or less of that now? And
more
companies more?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think more and more people are implementing it, and if they already do it, then they start to expand the policy, where it's reasonable suspicion, more random type things, and the technology is it's improving, so you can do quicker tests and on-site things, and maybe have somebody on staff handle that. Versus in the past, you have to really bring in an expert on the outside, bring him in, pay for that. So yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely we've seen an increase, and we getting more upsells on that as well. But yeah, it's
cool.
Yeah, it's big time.
Cool, very cool. Well, Shelby, our HR journalist, can tell you who we use for our background checks.
We'll bombard her. We'll
be ready.
We'll release the hounds somehow.
Shelby's great.
Don't tell her. We're just going to release the hounds.
So I'm going to switch gears.
Yeah.
Married. You mentioned kids for a second.
Yep.
How many kids do you have?
4, 2 girls, 2 boys.
What are their ages?
12, 9, 7, and 4. So the two girls are the oldest, and then my 2 boys are the youngest.
Okay.
12 is 6th grade, 7th grade.
7th grade. Yeah, her birthday's in June. She's 7th grade, Mount Jordan Middle School.
Is she Is she young for her age?
Yes.
Okay, so she's a June birthday.
Yeah.
I was a June birthday. I hated it.
Yeah, I was in September, so I was really.
Were you the?
I was
oh,
the youngest though.
Oh, so you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So September was. Really
You should have. You should have been. You should have been the oldest.
Yeah.
So were you like, after study, you got your license junior year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My junior year, and all my friends had it sophomore or the summer and the
Yeah.
spring before, and I was so mad about it. You know, back then though, it was you had no social life if you didn't have a car. Now
No.
kids think they're.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You needed friends that had early birthdays so
Yes.
that they could be driving. Because if you
Yes.
didn't and you just randomly had a group of friends that were just late birthdays, you're hosed.
Oh, yeah.
It sucked.
And the only way you knew where your friends were is you just drive around. Oh, everyone's at so and so's house. The
Yeah.
cars are all at so and so's house.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. See their cars parked. Oh yeah, we know what
It was
happened.
perfect. In ninth grade, we had one friend who got, his parents held it back a year. So in ninth, he got his license in ninth grade.
Oh wow,
So that was like big time.
Oh, that's big time.
Drives around, on the weekends and stuff. It
that's
was
amazing. He's the most
incredible.
popular
Oh,
guy
yeah.
ever.
Like that overnight, it was just like, everybody was hanging out with Tim.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense why you got so much trouble. You did. I mean, hold on.
No, that's true. That's true.
I did too. I was a bad kid. My poor parents.
Maybe he was growing up in Sandy.
Yeah.
Maybe
Dude,
it's
yeah,
the hardened
a bunch of
streets.
a bunch of douchebags go to Alta. Bunch of douchebags go to wherever you went to Alta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kidding. No, just kidding. And Nate, all right, we have a friend, Alta.
It's
Yeah.
the hard streets of
What-
Sandy.
Look, we got 1, 2, 3 great guys.
They are great
Always
guys. They're
Alta.
great guys. Amazing. Alta produces some amazing people.
That's right.
So how long have you been married?
23 years.
23 years.
23 years. We were married in '97.
Okay. Where did you meet?
We met, so my best friend Patrick, he was dating my wife Brady, her friend Tessa. They were dating shortly, and we met at a Halloween party, but we didn't really spend any time talking. And
Do you remember what she was dressed up as?
a vampire.
Bingo.
Hey, that's wedding, that's marriage points
Yeah,
right there, buddy.
and I was a sailor. So
Okay. Yeah, you just bring that up. She'd be like, oh, Jeff, you remember?
she pursued me though.
Oh, yeah. Bingo. Hold that over it forever.
That's right. That's right.
23 years, that's amazing.
Long time. Yeah.
Where's she from?
She grew up in Sandy too. She went to Jordan High School.
Okay.
In fact, she was the last graduating class in the old Jordan
The old Jordan.
on State Street where the movie theater is
I
now.
remember
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember like when they were tearing that down and there was like stories of like being haunted and
Yes.
people
Yeah.
going there
It's probably why I didn't want to go to Jordan's because I was afraid of it.
and right, yeah, that old beat digger. What a dumb mascot too.
Dude, the beat digger.
Beat digger.
The beat diggers. Not as
What
cool
is it? I mean,
as
it's
the
just a
Hawks.
person that digs beats. Is that really what it is? It's
Yeah.
just a human being
Yeah, their mascot.
with a
was
shovel or
like-
some kind, just
I mean,
digging up
big axe.
beats.
I can't even remember. Or a shovel? I don't know.
It's
Old
super
time
intimidating
club.
though when you think about it. It can be intimidating.
That's stupid.
No, it's not. I know. It's horrible. We were a bear. I was a Bruin.
The Bruins, yeah.
Bruins and Hawks, and that's pretty cool.
The Hawks are cool.
So, outside of work and golf, what else? Like, what are some hobbies you like to do?
Gosh, I spend all my time, honestly, especially right now, doing yard work. So we bought a house so my wife grew up with horses. She's big into horses. It's a passion of hers. The house we have now is near where she grew up, and it's a private lane. It's grandfathered horse property. She always kind of wanted to live on this lane. The house went for sale, and we bought it. This was 5 years ago, but it needs quite a bit of work. We just built a barn this year, a brand new barn. And so when I'm not working and golfing and trying to take care of my kids, I'm basically in the yard the whole time. But we've done quite a bit. We're doing a lot of maintenance and fixing up. So
That's awesome.
outside yard work, which I know isn't exciting. Spent a lot of time with my family. My whole family's here in Utah.
That's great.
My extended family, my siblings. We just got back from a camping trip that we all went on.
Where do you fall on the sibling line? Are you oldest, youngest?
So I have 2 older sisters,
Okay.
and then me, and then 2 younger sisters, and my brother's the youngest.
How old are they? Did they all go to altitude?
Cindy, the oldest, went to Alta. She graduated in 87, I think. 88, 87, 88. My sister Carrie is the next oldest. She graduated in 90, I think.
Okay.
And then I graduated in 93. And then because we were on the border of Alta Brighton, the younger siblings went to Brighton.
Did they? Okay.
And Skyline. So my sister Allison went to Brighton, my sister Shannon went to Skyline, and then my brother went to Skyline and Brighton. So,
Okay.
so we have a mixed family.
Yeah, okay. Awesome.
Close family though, we all hang out really close.
Dude, you don't see like that horse property much anymore.
No, it's really cool. It's kind of a unique place. So when I tell people, I literally am like a stone throw from Shields. So you know where Shields
Yeah.
is off 114?
Okay.
You could probably reach my house by throwing it. It's really close. We are on
Okay, could you-
First East.
Could you hit a drive to Shields?
Justin might be able to.
Okay.
So you're talking, okay, Shills on 116,
Yes, on 100, off of 114.
Yeah,
or 114, yeah.
Yep, just east of that. So when
So
I tell
just
people,
east of that.
Yep,
East, oh, okay.
off 110th.
There's a
we are-
Best Buy there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep, we are just north of Best Buy and just east of Shields.
Okay.
And
I know right where you're at.
there are some apartments near us. There's a business park near us. My backyard is a cemetery. So there's a cemetery right there off of State Street.
Yep. I know right where.
So our neighbors are cemetery and then an open field where there's a family of deer that lives, which is always hanging out there. But it's really cool little private lane. And again, my wife, because her passion is riding horses,
Yeah.
she found this place and said, "Hey, we should go check this out." And I thought, you know what, this is kind of a cool place to live, and I like having the extra land for our kids.
Right.
You know, they
That's amazing.
they can walk out and ride the horse anytime they want. We have chickens, we have a bunny, so we have a bunch of
That's
stuff
awesome, man.
going on. So
Fresh eggs every morning.
Yep.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Every
How-
morning.
Is there any worry of like encroachment? I mean, like we're talking things building around you enough to where you wouldn't want to be there? Was that land, do you think, pretty far off?
So the cemetery being right behind
Honestly,
us
that would
is-
be,
yeah,
that's
so-
untouchable.
So that's untouchable. We would love if the cemetery would just expand. There is an open field behind us. It's been vacant for a long, long time. When we bought the house, we asked about it, and they said the owner was holding out. If I had to guess, my guess would they would make that an industrial business park there, not like high rise, but
Yeah.
business buildings. Which is fine with us. We still have it's a great field, so I'm not too worried about it. But if someone buys it, I'm gonna start looking into it and go,
Yeah.
what's going on
Yeah.
here? So yeah, but it's been great.
Because that's just an interesting area. It's just, there's so much growth, you just never know, which land sells and then what goes up.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, but we love where we're at right now, and even with COVID, everyone having to stay home, for me at least, because I've been so busy in the yard, it really hasn't felt like I've been cooped up at all.
Yeah.
I haven't had to stay in a small apartment or a house. I've just I've stayed really busy, and we feel like we have room to do what we want. So
That's awesome. It's really awesome. Sweet, man. Well, this has been good. Did you watch? So you said you watched the link that I sent you with Homie a little bit. Yeah?
yes.
So do you know what happens now?
No, because I didn't get all the way through it. So
Perfect. So we end each episode with some would you rather questions.
okay, let's do it.
So we got a few. We started doing a little.
yeah, what happened to the music thing?
I got the music.
Oh, okay.
We've done it a few times. I have some lyrics, and you just have to tell me what the song is.
Okay. I'm pretty
So I
good
did-
at tunes. I don't know about lyrics though.
God, this is hard.
I
Because there is,
did go back to like the 80s, though. I thought this would be a good. I have older siblings. I know some of the music choices that they liked.
Yeah.
You're right around the same age, so I thought this would be good.
Yeah.
I grew up on some
I
of
like
that stuff.
80s
So,
music.
all right. Softball. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm not singing it, so you just.
you read the lyrics.
You won't get that. I mean, this is like poetry right here as well.
It's kind of hard sometimes, man.
Okay. Though his mind is not for rent, don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve a quiet defense, riding out the day's events, the river.
Okay, so Justin told you.
This was the softball. This was the softball.
Justin told you that I'm probably one of the biggest Rush fans ever. So I
Let's
almost
see.
wore my Rush T-shirt here. So
Perfect.
yeah, that's Tom Sawyer Rush.
Okay, easy. So we'll give a good one. He's got to know, right?
You did your homework. I'm impressed.
Okay. All right, next one. So slide over here and give me a moment. Your moves are so raw. I've got to let you know. I've got to let you know. You're one of my kind.
That's In Excess.
Yes,
Yes.
boy.
2 for 2. All right, last one.
In Excess. Nate, what's the song?
Is that Deviate or is that
It's,
I Need You Tonight?
Need You Tonight,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
It's a great song.
Okay. It's early morning, the sun comes out. Last night was shaking and pretty loud. My cat is purring, it scratches my skin. So what's wrong with another sin? The bitch is hungry, she needs to tell. So give her inches and feed her well.
Yeah.
More days to come, new places to go. I've got to leave, it's time for a show.
Scorpions.
3 for 3, I love it. It's amazing.
What song? What's the song? I don't know this.
Yeah,
Rock
that's-
You Like a Hurricane.
Yeah,
Rock
that's
You Like a
right.
Hurricane.
Yeah, Scorpions.
Yeah, you read it.
It was the bitch that gave it away.
It was
so.
the okay. I figured, yeah. I thought, hey, those were good.
Yeah, I love it. I could do this all day.
It's a good era. I should have done more. Those were maybe those were too easy.
No.
I should have done something harder.
This would take a long time, but Google this afterward. If you like Scorpions, there's some very weird history of the Scorpions and the CIA.
Really?
Yeah. I was just listening to a podcast, like I just started to, or it was an advertisement for one about, you know, when they played in Germany,
Uh-huh.
right? That there is legit conspiracy behind the Scorpions, the lyrics of the song they wrote or they made, and the CIA was in cahoots with them to, influence, governments and different things. But yeah,
Oh, wow.
the funny thing, not to get it all serious, but you remind me of that if you like Scorpions, it's, remember that.
Do you remember what
Google
podcast it was?
I don't, but I'm sure it would be the only one that might come up. And it was this,
Just Google Scorpions,
what was
CIA.
the song they sang? It was the first concert. It was the something of change. Winds of Change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was actually, I think, written. But they say someone says it was written by the CIA.
Very cool.
Anyway,
I'll have to check it out.
Scorpions.
Have you, so when I was searching for some of these, trying to figure out which ones I wanted to do, they had all their music videos too. They are so awful. Have you watched like an 80s music video in the last little bit?
Not in the last little bit. I used to watch a lot growing up, but yeah, they were pretty.
Well, yeah. I grew up I would do MTV.
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah, we probably thought they were awesome.
They are bad.
Just
They're so
horrible.
bad.
Used to watch the Countdown, and it was always like 80s rock, like Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
and Poison, and White Lion, and yeah.
Skid Row.
Skid Row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skid Row.
How many chihuahuas, the dog, right, would it take to overpower and kill you?
I do not like chihuahuas, so I'd probably run away. How many?
I mean, if it was like, if you're fighting for your life, how many do you think it would take?
A chihuahua, and they're
Chihuahuas.
attacking you.
They're coming in.
Like
how
there's
many?
no, like they're not just standing around. I mean,
Oh, no.
it is like,
They're gonna overpower and they're gonna kill
dude,
you.
it might
Fighting
only
for your
take
life.
like 3. The thing is, like, how do you fight off?
I think I can take like 7 or 8.
A swift kick to like 1, 2, 3.
Oh
Depends on how.
It just seems like one's going to distract you, the other one's right in the jugular or something. I don't know.
I'm saying 7 or 8.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Would you rather wake up naked in a forest 5 miles from home and then have to make your way back to your house, or in your underwear at work?
Ooh,
Not during COVID, in the office.
Yeah, not during COVID.
probably
You don't get away with it.
naked in the forest alone. If I
Find your way back home.
Okay. Oh, we got to ask them. We got to ask
Oh, yeah,
them
yeah, we have
the
one.
original, would you
Sorry.
rather? Would you rather? Okay. Would you rather stand on the tee box and have Tiger Woods draw his driver, take a full driver swing right to your shin?
Oh.
Okay, you're watching it. You're just straight up, and he's like warm-up swings and like, you know, just as hard as he can right to the shin. Or Barry Bonds takes his bat and he swings a home run swing right to the middle of your back.
Oh. Probably the shin, I think. I think the back would. Both are going to hurt like no other.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the shin.
Taking the shin.
Okay.
How many people say the back?
Not many, honestly, dude. It's funny. My explanation and theory on the back is a little different than most. Like I take the back,
You would.
but see, everybody doesn't take the back because they've had back pain before.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you could be paralyzed. You could die. Hey, you gonna die from the shin? No, you're probably gonna get a new leg. You know, whatever. So they're gonna say they're gonna err on that side. Like, okay, I'm avoiding paralyzation. Gonna take a new leg.
Yeah. Well, and it just seems like right to the major. That's not a good choice.
No.
But yeah, it's the most shin. Most of the time, people take the shin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither.
That's one rule though, is you gotta pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take it.
All right, would you rather give up coffee or soda forever?
Soda.
Soda.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay. Easy.
I like Coke Zero a lot, but coffee.
Coffee's a lot.
What's your go-to coffee?
You know, I just brew Dunkin' Donuts at home every morning. So before that, we have a pretty fancy coffee maker at work, and we buy these really expensive, nice beans. I forgot the name of them. They're from Portland, from Oregon. Oh, it'll come to me. But anyway, and the machine was called a Jira machine. Amazing coffee. But now that I'm home, it's just Dunkin' Donuts.
You're pretty simple, and that even with that at work, would you still just take just give me the Dunkin', I'm good.
Yeah. There's something about coffee in the morning. I guess do you guys drink coffee?
Mm.
So I guess it's kind of a habit thing where it becomes a part of, it's just a cool thing to wake up and have coffee. It's the first thing I do. So I wake up at 5:15, have coffee, and I go on a walk every morning. I used to run every morning, but my knees were bothering me, so I'm going to walk every morning for an hour just because I want to be active for 1 hour. And having the coffee before then is, I don't know, I really like it.
For the last few years, I've made the decision multiple times I'm going to start to drink coffee, and I don't know what's holding me back. But I'm so intrigued in coffee routines, morning routines, what people are doing. But that's why I've actually bought coffee, haven't done anything with it. You know, I've done like tea in the morning. This is so dumb. It's just like, dude, I should just need to. Once I figure out the routine, I know for a fact that I'll figure something out. I think it's a good thing.
It is an acquired taste, but it's not as acquired as like beer, for instance. Beer takes a while to acquire a taste for beer. Coffee's pretty, I don't know, doesn't take.
Are you a whole bean or a ground? Do you grind your own?
I will, but right now I have ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll buy bean and grind it myself, but that's just a little bit more work. So
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather have to be serenaded by Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake?
Justin Timberlake. My wife is a huge Justin Timberlake fan. So
I would choose Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like I would catch something from
Yeah, I think that's an easy decision.
Would you rather have a permanent unibrow or no eyebrows at all?
Ooh. I kind of have no eyebrows, honestly, because my eyebrows, for some reason, are really light. I get it from my dad, so probably no.
Just yours going no.
No eyebrows.
I don't like the unibrow. Like
But you're talking
Anthony
like
Davis.
dark
Yeah.
eyebrow, hair, unibrow, all the
Would
way.
you rather have a uni or no?
Like AD. When
Yeah.
is he gonna just?
No, he will never shave. He'd look good if he shaved.
I think he should. I
That's
get
his,
it.
that's his nickname, right? The brow.
The brow.
You can't get rid of it now.
Well, and he's so big and strong. I mean, who's gonna say, dude,
Yeah,
that looks
yeah.
terrible?
I hope somebody has.
Yeah, I'm sure he.
Would you rather?
I don't think he looks good.
I don't think so.
I hate his eyebrow.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Hear that, Anthony Davis would hate your eyebrow.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
He'll probably listen to
He's
this.
listening to this, and he will know we
I
don't
hope
like
he
his
does.
unibrow.
Would you rather have X-ray vision of people you find extremely unattractive, or everyone else have X-ray vision of you?
Ooh. I think probably everyone else of me, just because I don't think I want to see all that. I just don't. Yeah.
And you don't have a choice? Like, what do you mean, just that you're driving, like you're in the grocery store, and no matter what, your X-ray vision is permanently on, and then you just...
Yeah, so like, yeah, I find somebody who I think is very attractive, I look at them normal. Not attractive, I see it all.
Or every single person is seeing you naked
Yeah,
as you go to the grocery store.
right.
Oh, man. Maybe it motivates you to just look good naked.
Yeah.
Like you got a good looking naked body. I mean, you're working out.
Yeah.
It's like crap.
Yeah, maybe that's motivation. That's
Yeah,
what
I think I do that. I think I take that one too.
Always stay on top of your game.
Yeah, you're gonna be always on top of the game.
Would you rather know when you're going to die or how you're going to die?
I think how. I've always said I'm going to live to be 100, so that's my goal. But I think how. Because when,
They
it
both
just kind of
suck.
spoils everything.
Yeah. But what if it was like you know
you
you're
can
gonna
plan. You can plan ahead.
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
like you know you're gonna get in a car accident. You just stop driving. Like it could be tomorrow. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You can't avoid it.
No.
You could get hit by a car on the
Yeah.
side of the road.
I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Not stuff.
But if you're going to drown, you know you're going to drown. You just never go in water again.
Damn. Maybe somebody
But you have to take showers.
kidnaps you and drowns you.
That's true.
Gosh, yes. Now we're getting into the cool movie. This is like a good movie plot.
That could be a movie.
It could be a movie.
Would you rather?
It is.
Would you rather get a face tattoo of something of your choosing, or a tattoo on your chest chosen by someone else? They get to pick whatever it is. So I mean, obviously it's gonna be covered up, but people are gonna see it. You're gonna go swimming, and it's like, what is that?
Yeah, that's true. Face tattoo, though, you can't really hide from that. I mean,
No.
there's nothing you can do. Even if I had, say, Rush tattooed on my face.
I love Rush. Tom Sawyer.
I think probably the one you can cover up on your chest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a head the size of a tennis ball, or the size of a watermelon? Like a big one.
You're talking, yeah,
Big
it's like
one,
wide.
right?
I have a
Big
friend.
long.
I have a friend who has a head almost the size of a watermelon. So huge head. He can't find a hat that'll fit him.
Really?
So, yeah. It's.
Okay.
I think watermelon. I just don't think I can do a small head. It just looks too weird.
That would be weird.
I mean, they both would be weird,
Would you rather be in a fight club that meets once a month, or a book club that meets every day?
but probably the book club. I'm not a fighter, so.
Me neither, but just like
I don't
the
want
idea of
broken
getting
bones.
together and talking about a book every
That's
day
true.
sounds
Like
Yeah.
every day is way too much. Yeah.
Would you rather sing everything you say or dance every time you walk?
Every
I
time you
love
talk, you
dancing.
sing.
Yeah.
Every time you talk, you sing.
Yeah.
Dance every time you walk, or sing every time you talk.
So you're gonna go to the bathroom though, and you're just boogieing along to the bathroom.
I think probably dancing. Yeah, I think
People will probably like it.
I would not want to sing everything.
Unless I had a good voice, maybe I'd say sing, but
Dance.
I think dancing. That's a better choice, for sure.
would you rather always get stuck in traffic or always have terribly slow internet connection?
Probably get stuck in traffic, and I hate getting stuck in
Traffic's
traffic.
the worst.
It is terrible. It's one of the things about working from home. It's been so great.
Right.
No commute.
Yeah, that's
Slow internet. I mean, is there anything more frustrating though? It's just
terrible.
It is. Last night I was dealing with it.
The dial-up, right?
I know.
That
We
sucked.
waited forever. We waited through the sound, the weird sound.
All right. Would you rather never be able to get a haircut again or never be able to shave again? Which one is your wife going to be happy with?
Probably the haircut. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to go, so I might after my birthday, but probably I would say.
Good length, man. I would keep it. If I could rock that, I would.
It's been a year and a half, and it is a pain in the butt.
Is
really
it?
is. I have so much empathy for women just having to deal with long hair.
Really?
Oh, it's getting annoying, really.
Is it?
really quickly? Yeah.
You're throwing out like in the man bun?
Yeah, all the time because it's so convenient and I
Yeah.
don't get as hot. So.
Yeah.
But it looks ridiculous. I know that. So.
I like it. I've always wanted a man bun.
Dude, you can do it, man.
No one would buy insurance for me, dude.
Well, yeah, no, it's true, yes.
See, I don't know about that. So when I
I
worked,
think things have changed a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
when
like
I was-
beards are acceptable, you know what I mean? Like everything is kind of like, it would probably change.
Well,
When I was-
if you're 28 with a man bun, it's different than you're 38 with a man bun. You can look 30. I mean, if you look older with a man bun, I think it is a big difference when you look really young.
Yeah.
with a man.
And I think that most people's perception on what a salesperson is supposed to look like or how they're supposed to dress, I think it's changed. Like our CEO, he wears, when we were in the office, he wore a t-shirt and jeans and flip-flops every day.
Yeah.
So if we had a salesperson come in with a suit or shorts and a t-shirt, he probably wouldn't care at all. So.
Right. Maybe it'd sell more.
I think you're gonna need to test it out, man. You're gonna need to
You should. I should.
figure it out.
Give it a shot.
Okay. All right, I got two more.
Okay.
I was a little nervous to ask these ones.
These last two?
Yeah. Well, one of them. I just never know how people are going to react. You
Dude, no one listens to this.
know? Would you rather have to pay for sex or be paid to have sex?
Oh, wow.
Hold on, repeat.
Would
Pay
you rather?
for
would you rather-
Everybody that listens is absolutely clear on this question.
Yes. Would you rather have to pay for sex or be paid to
Oh,
have
wait,
sex?
okay, but you're married. Like you gotta pay your wife. Like in some type of fashion, you gotta
It's
pay.
true.
her.
That's
what's,
true.
What's worse? Probably to not be married, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, in your situation
Okay,
now.
let's do both. In your
Right,
situation
in your
now
situation
and
now, right.
A hypothetical, not
Like-
married, no kids.
You're like, honey,
So in my
what's it cost?
situation now, of course, pay for it.
Yes.
If I were single, why not get paid for it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, pay for both. I like it.
Doesn't mean you have to be promiscuous.
No.
You could decide once every blue moon. So
That's a good answer.
It's a safe answer.
It's a safe
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah. It's good.
politically correct answer.
Would you rather find your parents' sex tape or have your parents find your sex
Oh.
tape?
Ouch. I don't think you can't choose either one of those.
Those are the
Yeah,
rules. Those are the
you're gonna have
rules.
to.
I
Holy crap.
probably.
I'm saying mine. I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah,
saying
mine.
mine.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Awesome. Man.
Those are good ones.
Oh my gosh, way to finish it off, Peter. Just says.
Awesome. Okay, that's it. Jeff Platt, Collective Medical. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you.
Pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
And cut. And cut. And.
That was cool. Thank you.